Hey guys, this is Elia with more April 2016 Mage Class Wars Finals footage. This was submitted to us by Fealindale, and so a big thank you to him for sending in his Warlords Hall footage. Feal has actually sent in footage before, and just for whatever reasons, either quality issues or it's very hard to, you have to have a pretty powerful computer to maintain a good quality video and not lag and all of that stuff. So he sent in the Titan War footage a couple times, and I just haven't been able to use it, and that's really a pity since he's teamed up with Asher and who we'll see tonight. So Asher and Lobish and Sparkhawk, and so he's from a team that has seen a lot of success and a guild and a server that have really done well, and he's also been performing quite well in Class Wars the past few months, and so here he is. I mean, it's much tougher competition this time around because we have people that we're unfamiliar with, or at least who seem very new in the scheme of things. So here he's up against Ra, who is from the same server as Mr. Strife, who I've shown a few videos of his Class Wars and a World Boss vid. Very strong archer, and so Ra doing a pretty nice job here. With the Odin, feels in quite a bit of trouble, and there's the big hit. Looked like that was the hammer Delphic, but then I didn't see the animation for it, which is a little weird. And here we go, up against Asher, his guildie, his teammate, it's all sorts of crime. but we'll see who wins out. I think, Asher is probably at, well, I don't know if Asher's at a BR advantage so much as maybe a total build advantage. Both of them are going after Lightbringer and trying to get into Sylph mode early. He'll get a nice little advantage here, though, at the beginning. I'm surprised to see Asher was able to get into Sylph mode there. Didn't look like his awakening was happening. Looks like Feal might have lost some damage to a deflect or something. I don't know where that dropped so quickly from. Asher does like using Thor, but most people who use Thor, the big intention is to get into Sylph mode early. So if you're a Thor user, you definitely want to have Lightbringer. So get into Sylph mode early and then punch it out and try and kill the person long before they can get into Sylph mode. And Asher didn't have that luxury. Fealindale actually got the drop on him at the beginning of the fight. Feels in a bit of trouble here, though, so he really needs to get a Lightbringer. He does go after his Rage Rune instead of his Guardian Rune, which, I guess he probably sees as a necessity, since he needs to get into Sylph mode. Too bad he can't heal right here. He has to wait a turn since the heal is still on cooldown. And Asher gets him just by going into Sylph mode. So it was very, very tight. Who knows if he could have gotten a heal or a little bit of a rune switch there or something. But Fealindale does go with a Rage Rune. I'm not sure if that's my favorite pick, but maybe he sees it as a necessary evil because he wants to use Lightbringer. There, Lightbringer totally backfires on him. He gets chaosed, and so the Lightbringer goes to Fealindale, or I don't know where the emphasis is on the name, but anyway, so Fealindale gets into Sylph mode very, very quickly, and it's pretty much done for there. So Lightbringer can be a double-edged sword in that respect, just because if it gets chaos, it's such bad news. There's very few things that could be worse to give your opponent than the whole team, especially in group play. If you give, it's an AOE, so it's just really, really terrible if it gets chaos. And that's part of the reason, I was talking about for my prelims and finals, I did bring a Chaos Rune as to protect against, or at least part of the reason was to protect against that. He also has Guardian Rune, so again, probably necessary. A heal is I don't know whether heal or Guardian right now is better. A heal rune is one of those things that can just patch you up when you really, really need it. So I'm not totally sure what the best bet is, but he goes with a Guardian Rune. Frigga manages to get that nice absorption shield on. Big Bailey here is quite strong. I mentioned in prelims, but Big Bailey is actually a player that I was more familiar with than I thought I was. So she was previously playing on Dreamy, a very, very big Archer tune, and there she goes. So she's really made that tune, worked up a very, very strong mage. I think of the highest BR player is definitely Zard Oz, who's an R2 Games player. Very, very surprised just to see a tune with quite so much PR, but I imagine that Big Bailey and Ray 7 are probably the next closest. Well, actually, I mean, if I'm thinking about crossover rankings, it's Ray. Sometimes I see Zeke in the mix in those top rankings. So it always depends a little bit on build, depending on how much people decide to push HP and things. They might go for lower BR materials, so really depends. There, Feal gets the drop on Grinny pretty quickly. He's not able to really set up in a way that's going to be competitive. But I mean, that's really the essence of these fights. If you can get a huge advantage over somebody else early on, you're going to just go for it. Here he's changing up strategies a little bit. I would change runes if I were changing strategies though. It goes for a Guardian rune at the beginning. Who knows? Maybe it was just a player error, and he meant to go with a Guardian rune. I mean, meant to go with a Rage rune first, and just hit the Guardian on accident. Always some potential for that. I didn't ask about too many game details or anything like that before looking into this video, so it's purely reaction on my part. There, Devil not holding up well against these attacks. Really, it's so bad to be in class mode when your opponent is in Sylph mode. The difference is enormous. The amount that that your opponent deals and the bonuses that they get from their reduced res and all of that stuff are much scarier once they're in Sylph mode, and if you're not also in Sylph mode. So here we go. The Titan's going off. It looks like Feal has just that shield Titan going. I don't see any of the bleed ones or the heal ones. I might be totally wrong and off about that, but there are some of the players that have peeked around, and I think I think Asher might have had the bleed, Song of Fear or something like that. It's very, very nasty. Bleeds for 5 turns for 100%. For the value of like 100% of the person's attack stat or something like that. So it's not a good situation to be in. If you're in group play and multiple people have that and the bleeds start stacking up, that's extra bad. So you gotta be careful. Looks like Feal gave Shay his Lightbringer again. Or not again to Shay, but another opponent. Gets his Guardian rune out before that Delphic, which is very, very good because he'd probably be dead by now if he didn't have that. Oh, but Shay has another big attack and he's gone. So Shay really got the the drop on him pretty badly, and but he's still in pretty good shape. Yeah, he had some tough opponents at the beginning, so it shouldn't be all bad news. Here's Zardoz, highest BR player, but it depends a little bit, how people play. It definitely has the feeling that the people who haven't been in the same crossover section as them for ages, and with R2 game servers, I don't think we've ever been in a crossover section with them. So with these players, each of the time zones and the crossovers tend to build their own culture of what they like to play with. So obviously I like to play a certain way, and I've been influenced by the other players in my crossover section, the people who I have to compete against regularly. So you don't see all the same stuff across the board this time around. Though even in our crossover section, once in a while you'll see somebody with a Thor troop, which I really don't understand. But there, Zard definitely takes out Feal. Most of that is probably BR advantage. Up against Chilimac. His Lightbringer does do the trick this time around. Chilimac going out with his usual setup, which is Odin as a main and 2 Friggos. 2 Frigga troops really just makes all the difference. That's another reason why it's tough to use Frigga as a main, just because if you know, every time you have a Frigga as a troop, it's sort of sad to not use it as a troop. It's so fantastic that it's really hard to give up. I think one other weird thing, you know, I'm gonna double check what his troop skills look like in the next break, but I think Feal has some odd choices for what order he's doing all of that stuff in. Yeah, so he has 2 Whispering Winds going on both of his Sylph troops, which I think either is an error or a very, very odd choice. I don't really know why he does that. You know, the 30% bonus is obviously very, very nice, but I'm not sure that's the best choice. I think, you know, if you're going to have Whispering Wind on the Wind troop, you might as well put a heal on Frigga if that Frigga of his. And he definitely has Blessed Light or Rain Dance on the Frigga that he's wearing. Maybe the other one doesn't have it, but I probably would use either a heal or just go ahead and steal the first turn, or really just a lot of better options for the Frigga, you know, for Frigga's first move, because I think usually the Goddess of Prosperity would be able to make it to the Whispering Wind, and so there's no point in doubling up that skill. Here up against Ray, always a hard hitter. Is he gonna make it? Oh, he just makes it to that shield. Oh no, he goes after a skill instead of Rain Dance. Can he get it? Do it, do it. Oh, he does. Oh, that's huge. He goes straight for the big skill. Oh, it doesn't kill her. Ray sturdy as ever. Ray set up the same way that I was in prelims, but it's more not in prelims, in finals. But I think Ray owns this setup and owns that win self so much that it's more like I had her set up for finals. And Feal manages a really, really huge win against Ray, and all things considered, that is very, very big. So he's even saying, haha, I beat Ray, after losing to everybody else. So for sure a surprise win if you know, Ray doesn't, ends up tying or you know, in wins or anything like that. So of course Ray right now tied up with Zardoz. That's just, that's huge. Every once in a while, it's fun to be the person who spoils things for the winner, or if you know, whoever the winner is, if you're the one person who gave them that loss, it feels pretty good. It's something that I've done before, and every right to be chipper about it. It really doesn't take anything away from Ray as a player, just because she's always had a fantastic run and is a very good player. It's just, you know, things worked out for Feal, and all worked out. Maybe Ray had just 0 water resistance, which I wouldn't be surprised. I don't carry around water resistance. But a little bit of it is luck for sure, since Feal was so low on HP. For any of my Brazilian viewers who like Jogo Pelado, you should definitely send that one into him for the top 5 videos, because I think that was a really great fight and a fun one. Here, Palk, another player I'm not familiar with. It really is sort of like a blind date, you know, just sort of diving into the unknown, and you know, with the possibility of something exciting, but just so unfamiliar with some of these players. Here we have Chastity. It's from Wartune 68. Somehow that feels a little bit more familiar. Just the word Wartune actually makes it more familiar. Once we go R2 games, I'm totally lost, but don't feel super familiar with Chastity either. Who knows? It could all be name changes. It's not, though. So here we go. I would love to see Feal change up these troop skills a little bit. I think that's an odd choice. when he watches this, I'm just gonna make sure to complain about it enough so that he remembers next month not to do that. And here, last fight up against Ice. Ice has given me trouble in the past. You know, I have lost some fights to Ice. I think, well, I don't know if I've lost a Warlord's Hall competition against that Thor. But for sure, at times, you know, if Ice gets into Sylph mode easily enough, you know, gets into Sylph mode first and is able to get some really big attacks off with that Thor, it's trouble. But here they're matched up pretty nicely as far as awakening points go, so now I think the Frigga probably has more of an advantage. Oh, and for sure Ice, not enough defense for that, so probably a big BR disadvantage. And so here are our rankings. So Ray 7 is the big winner, so a big congratulations to her. And Fealindale did have that one win against Ray, so he was the potential spoiler. And then followed up by Zard Oz from R2 Games, and Asher coming up in 3rd place. Chili Mac down to 4th this time around, and Re-Raw. So really a very clean mix of players from my crossover section, the ones that I'm familiar with, and then players from the crossover sections that we've been previously merged with. And then Fealindale coming up right in the middle, so even though he was the big winner against Ray, he sort of comes up in the middle. Still really has a nice performance. I really enjoyed some of the fights, and he does a nice job here. So a big thank you again to him for sending in the footage. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll have some more footage up coming up, so a video from Mr. Strife, so we'll see the archers. And so take care, you guys, and have a very good day.